What's up and welcome to the Indie Credible Podcast episode 56. I had to look then because I thought it was 55. Episode 56, a weekly podcast where we get together and chat about the world of indie gaming. We go through all the indie games we've been playing, we go through the latest indie game news, and there's quite a lot this week because Gamescom has just finished. And we go through a main topic, okay? And the main topic this week is going to be Gamescom. It kind of makes sense. It's just literally finished. As always, I'm kind of your host, or I try to do the best job of hosting. Lewis, and you can find me at What's Up Woody. And with me, as always, is Dan from at the Dice Bear, or just a Dice Bear on the internet.
Just Dice Bear on the internet.
And if you're wondering where Tom is for the second week, no,
he was here last week.
Yeah,
he wasn't here the week before.
Yeah, so he's away again because a bit of confusion. Initially last week he told us he couldn't do this week because he was doing a Lord of the Rings marathon with his friend who's down. He's not seen for a long time.
Yeah.
Then he texted me about an hour ago saying, change your plans, he's not doing it, he can do the podcast. And I was like, oh, we're kind of starting in 20 minutes or half hour. And he was like, no worries, see you next week. So that's why Tom's not here. He had plans and he got cancelled. So, but yeah, he'll be back.
With his friends.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, he hasn't got friends. He hasn't. But he'll be back next week. Yeah. So Gamescom, mate. Gamescom has been and gone. I've sort of quickly clear something up. I've had so many people comment or contact me through YouTube and Twitter asking if we are at Gamescom this year.
No.
I wish we were at Gamescom this year. I really do. That's our next big kind of convention event goal. I'd love to say we're going to be there next year in some form. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe half the team will be there, maybe they won't be there. I don't know. But we'll keep people posted. We'd love to be there. And if you want to help us get there, then, cheeky plug now, patreon.com/IndieCredible. That will help us get there. But yeah, we weren't at Gamescom, but as you can expect, being any gaming fans, indie or AAA, we had our eyes closely peeled on the phones, on the screens, seeing what was announced. And I've got to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed.
There was a mix. There was a real mix for me. It wasn't as sort of major hits.
Yeah.
There weren't any big, huge announcements that I walked away from going, fuck, that was great. But we did get to see little bits more. And there was one of my favourite jokes ever in it.
Okay.
Which was the finally we get a release date for Shenmue 3. Best joke of the event. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Because Gamescom does have some really fecking big reveals sometimes. For example, Spider-Man PS4 was initially shown, the first reveal was at Gamescom.
Gamescom, yeah.
But I suppose, in hindsight, thinking about it, Sony have got such a big 18 months lined up. They've got so many games coming out. They don't need to reveal any more games. They just need to...
I don't think they can. Could you seriously put more games out?
Well, I think also, the next set of releases, you're just looking at PS5. I think... Because we're basically set up until next summer. And I think the next set of releases, you're thinking, well, is it going to be one of those cross-platform jobbies where it does PS4, PS5? And I think they just want to reassure players and say, look, this is still in the works and this is still coming.
This is still going on.
And Xbox, I feel like Xbox has given up with this generation. I feel like they've gone, do you know what? We're going to keep it, they've got thoughts. I mean, what I saw the gameplay for, Thoughts of Horizon 4.
Yeah.
Got to be honest, still blown away by it, still looks amazing. But it's going to be a great game. It's Playground Games and all that, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed. But should we talk about it at the end, shall we?
When we get into
get to Gamescom, because we could go on.
We could seriously just sit for an hour and talk about Gamescom.
We will start, as always, with before we start, I always forget.
What we do? What have you forgotten?
Probably should say to people where we could find us.
Didn't we do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I kind of whizzed through it all. Where can you find us? That is a good question. We're available on pretty much every podcast services, iTunes, SoundCloud, Player FM, in audio form. And if you want to watch us in video form, then you can find us on youtube.com/IndieCredible. The benefit of watching us in video form is, although I just noticed our lighting is very dark today, but maybe it is quite dark outside. I'll maybe try and do something post edit for that. But anyway, if you want to watch this in video form, we have all the trailers of the games we're talking about, and there'll be lots of stake as Gamescom playing behind us. So you can maybe timestamp something in audio form, think, I want to see more about that game. Come and check it out in video in the podcast. But yeah, enough of where you can find us. Do you want to start with what you've been playing, or shall I go first?
You might as well, because I've just realised I can't actually talk about what I've been playing.
No, you can't. Because I know what you have been playing.
Yeah.
We can talk about it next week.
Because that was my indie game, the indie game I've been playing.
Yeah. Is that what you've really been playing?
Indie game wise, yeah.
So that's all I had been playing until the bloody influx of Nintendo releases. So, the game we'll talk about more next week is Video Kid.
Yes.
So we can say it's coming
You
out.
can say
It's coming to Xbox and Nintendo Switch. It's a kind of Paperboy inspired 80s.
It's full on Paperboy.
It's Paperboy 80s.
Paperboy.
You deliver videos.
Except you
but
deliver
that's
videos.
all we can kind of say on that. Okay, so I'll go into what I'm playing. So I started the week with that.
Yeah.
And then Monday, Nintendo went, oh yeah, here's a little kind of mini showcase, because they've got a big showcase coming next Tuesday, 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think
GMT
that's
time.
right.
Is the indie showcase for the
Nindies.
the fall, whatever it is. And then they kind of went, oh yeah, there's Morphe's Law, there's Bad North, and there is Prison Architect, bang, out now on the Switch. So instantly I was like, whoa, I've been looking forward to Bad North and Morphe's Law for a little while. Although I had been talking a little bit of crap about Bad North, but yeah. Me and Tom spoke a bit of crap about it once, saying it looked like a mobile game. It's not a mobile game. But Morphe's Law, I started Morphe's Law.
Go for it. I actually got to play that a little bit.
Did, yeah. Morphe's Law, give it a context to the situation. Morphe's Law is a team-based shooter game, third-person shooter, similar in terms of gameplay to something like Splatoon rather than hardcore sim-style shooting game. It's very Mexican vibe themed in terms of your character, and everything has the kind of
Day of the Dead look.
That's the one. Thank you, Day of the Dead look. And the idea of the game is it's got a really cool premise where if I shoot an enemy's arms, their arms will shrink, losing life, and my arms will get bigger, gaining life. And then if I shoot their body, the exact same would happen. Shoot their leg, the exact same will happen. And they really feed into that mechanic with their game modes. So there's 3 game modes I know of. One is called Head Rush, where you have to get basically all the game modes, all the game stages are 2 avatars either side, a red and a blue. Then they're kind of holding up the map. I mean, you're playing on the map in the middle. Right. And then, so the head one, you have to get the head and get it to cannon, and then it fires to your avatar, and the other avatar drops it, and that team loses. There's one where you have to shoot them to gain mass on your body, and then get to checkpoints and unload that mass to then give it to your avatar to give your avatar bigger. Yeah. And there's just a basic deathmatch where you just got to kill them as many times as you can. Now, as an idea, it's really fucking cool, and anyone who's willing to bring something new to the online shooting genre, I'm more than happy to give a go. Unfortunately, I just think the game is probably a couple of months released too early. I get the impression, and I say that because the biggest issue with the game at the moment is the servers. The servers are all over the place. Now, I've played handheld, I've played docked. On docked, I get full 3 bar signal on my internet, and I still have exact same issues than if I had 1 bar signal on my internet in handheld. I tried it through my phone with hotspot to see how that would work. Again, it was the exact same. Now, it has been, the developers have sent a patch to Nintendo, and they're just waiting for authentication by Nintendo to go and put it on. I still don't think that's going to fix everything, but I wouldn't say it's unplayable, but it's it's not far from it.
It was so close to unplayable. As I was going in for a fight, I'd run in for a fight, start shooting, and then my character, for no known reason, would start walking backwards or to the side, or everything would jump like you get when you get lag in a game. But this wasn't like a little jump. This was a full fucking screen movement. It was. And
I'm not trying to defend the game. When you were playing it, that's one of the worst I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had games where I've played it in handheld, sat on the sofa downstairs, and it's ran fine. Yeah, it's a little bit, you turn, the frame rate's a little bit jagged, but it's not, it's the same as playing Fortnite with a slightly poor internet connection. It's playable, you can still play it, it's fine. I've had games like that, but then I have had games where I've just turned it off because I'm like, this is ridiculous. And it's a real shame because, like I said, the idea is there, and it's nice and colourful as well. I like the Mexican theme to it.
Yeah.
The stage level design seemed quite nice on the level I played.
Yeah,
because it seemed quite easy to move around, navigate, but also just shoot shit, which is what you want to do.
So one thing on that as well, the levels are really fucking cool because they have elements where there's certain places you can get only if you're
bigger, and certain places you can get only if you're smaller. So, for example, there's like drain pipes that get up to higher ones. So, chances are, if you're smaller, it's because you've been getting killed quite a lot and you're shrunk. So, you get the advantage of actually getting up to places that other places people can't reach. And then you get a height advantage. Whereas other places where you can jump up but you need bigger legs. So there's a kind of tactical element to it. Whereas if you want to get somewhere, you need to shoot someone's legs to get bigger legs to then be able to jump higher to then get through. So, like I said, as a concept and as an idea, it's really bloody cool. I get the feeling the reason it's only on Switch at the moment, not PS4 or Xbox, is because how bad the servers are.
Right.
I'd feel like PlayStation would go, that's got no chance coming on here. Because PlayStation are so... We'll talk about it later on with a piece of news, actually, about a game coming to Xbox and not PlayStation. But PlayStation are very strict on the quality.
Do you remember PlayStation put Black Tiger on there?
They did, yeah.
So before you go into the whole preaching about PlayStation
in terms
quality...
of... If you put a comparison to Steam, to Xbox or to Nintendo, they are probably the most strict on what can pass through as...
Yeah.
Which is weird, I think, when you're talking about Nintendo.
Nintendo used to be but with the Switch, they seem to let anything on.
I'm going to stick with Murphy's Law, and every time there's an update, I'm going to jump back on. And I really hope...
Murphy's Law is something else.
Murphy's Law. I'm a big fan of Interstellar, so... Murphy's Law. I'm going to stick with it every now and then, and I really hope that by Christmas time, when everyone gets a new Switch and all that...
Yeah.
It's patched and it's going well, because it's like $15.99, so... If they can get it sorted, it's a game I definitely recommend. But and like you said, all the issues are perfectly fixable.
Oh yeah, there's nothing there. I thought that's it. It's completely broken. I'll never be able to play it again. So but it needs those patches and it needs the servers behind it for it to be.
Been playing Claws of Fury or Furry, however you want to pronounce it. That doesn't release for another couple of weeks, so I don't want to say anything that I'm not going to say on that game. But I'm going to talk about it more next week along with Video Kid.
But we can talk about having played it at...
We played at EGX
Res, didn't we?
So, go on. You played at Res, I played at Res. What questions did you have going in? I'll see if I can answer some of them.
Oh, okay. Is it just another brawler?
Yes. It has a really weird element to its kind of progression system. But yeah, it is effectively another brawler.
But from what I can recall, the difference was the slight side-scrolling element. It's more of a platform.
There's platform sections
than there's sections.
There are platform elements to it. So so there are parts of some levels where you platforming you can complete the stage, the section without platforming or going up higher, but it will benefit you by doing so.
Okay.
And I don't want to say
anymore.
Let's
move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's just move on. Bad North, I've literally played 20 minutes of. I sat down to play it when we were in
Scotland. I want a full review now.
And then
out of 10.
Sarah's like, we've got an hour until we're going for dinner. I was like, cool, perfect. So I've played 45 minutes of Bad North and I'm going to get ready. And I put it on, I literally played the first stage, and then Sarah's like, oh, we're going out for a drink early. So I was like, okay. So I turned up, it seems really nice. It's this kind of puzzle RTS game where you have to move Viking troops and ships. You have to kind of deal with ships coming in and troops moving around. You're on a little island and these ships are trying to invade your island and you have to kind of move. It's very cute. It is absolutely perfect for the Switch being in handheld.
Right.
It just kind of fits. It's that... So we talk about indie, AAA and AA. So like the AA sits in between.
Yeah.
This is kind of the AA, but of mobile to indie. So it feels like it's very well polished mobile game, but it's not a mobile game. Does that make any sense? It feels like it's been made to play on the go.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But it feels really nice. I wouldn't sit down and play this on my PlayStation. I'd probably get quite bored. But sitting down on the sofa, having a little jump on it, playing it for half hour, it seems like I'm going to have a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
And the final game I talk about is The Messenger. Now, this is a big one because a lot of people have been waiting for this one. It was revealed at an indie showcase earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And The Messenger is the very retro-inspired 2D platforming action game that switches between 8-bit and 16-bit in terms of the visuals and the music and everything. It literally is two games in one. Now, it's a game that initially I was like, it looks okay. And then I kind of saw more gameplay, but I was like, actually, that looks really fucking cool. Like, I'm a big fan of Metroidvania style games. And I know this isn't that, but where I've kind of got more into playing stuff like Dead Cells and other games, I was like, do you know what? I'm really going to give this. I can't wait to give this a go. The game is at the moment good.
Okay.
So it releases on Tuesday. So this will come. The podcast will go out probably quite late Monday, just to make sure I don't clash with any stuff I'm not meant to say.
Yeah.
So the game released on Tuesday. I have two big issues with it.
Right.
I'm 5 hours into the game.
Yeah.
And I've only just got to the part where it switches.
Okay.
Which is fine, but I was a bit more thinking it was going to be a bit more. And I've not.
But then again, is that kind of. Are we going to get length? Or is that like a Final Fantasy game? Because you know how when you play Final Fantasy, you play for like 4 hours and then it shows the intro credits. And you're like, oh my god, I've only just started this game.
I don't think it's going to be the case of that. Now, I have to be careful what I say here purely for spoilers. Because it is effectively a story-driven game.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, the 8-bit stuff is stunning. It's gorgeous. The music is fucking amazing. You're going to love it.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. But, so, my first issue is the fact that I've had to wait or had to play. And that's not... So, before I go on to my second point is, I suppose the issue I have with playing 5 hours is I'd rather not know it as a mechanic. I'd rather go through and then go, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. But because they told me it, every screen or every new area, I was like, oh, is this the part where it turns? Oh, is this part where it turns? Oh, is this part where it turns? And then you get to the point where you're like, does this game ever fucking turn? Like, is it a hidden secret or whatever? And you're like, oh, now it... But my second issue, and this is a bigger issue, and this is probably my biggest issue of the game, and I need to work out whether this is an objective issue or a subjective issue.
Right.
The game is too fucking easy.
Okay.
And this is meant to be an 8-bit action platformer. Like
the old style.
Yeah. Like Shenmue. Shenmue?
That wasn't 8-bit.
Not Shenmue. The game, Mega Drive came with a cartridge. It had columns and some soccer game on it and a ninja game.
Shinobi.
Shinobi. Now, I remember as a kid crying because that game was hard. Like, wanting to take that cartridge out and launch it out the top window as far as I possibly could.
Yeah.
Now, I know I was a kid, and I've probably played so many more games since then. But, like...
No, going back to old games, even now, they are shit hard. They are...
This game is... And I don't know if it's because I'm playing shit tons of Dead Cells... Or what, I don't know, but I just feel like...
You know what, the only way to test it is, because of course I haven't been playing Dead Cells or anything like that, is I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to tell you if it is just the fact that you've been playing a lot of really hardcore games this year and have got you, or if it is just really easy.
So, I mean, now there's nothing wrong with having against easy, but I feel like games that are easy need to give you something else in return. So like a really interesting story.
Yeah.
This is a classic retro gaming story. There's a demon army, they've come down, they want to rule the world. You're going through and killing them one by one by the bosses, and that's basically the story. It's pretty cool.
Right.
There's like an RPG element where you kind of level up your skill tree and all things like that, and some new mechanics get given to you, like you get a wingsuit so you can like use wind to glide down, you can attack in the air, and there's lots of mechanics going on. The hardest element to it is the platforming puzzles rather than the enemies. The enemies are very easy. The platforming with the swinging ropes and jumping over things, that's the hardest bit, but I don't think it's hard by any means. But I'm really interested to see... I've not finished the game yet, but I'm really interested to see what people are going to score this.
Oh, okay.
Because I need to see more of the whole switching mechanic.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't do anything to the gameplay... What's the point of it being there? I know it looks nice, but that's like
that's going to be your fear, isn't it? Is it there just because it looks nice, or does it bring something to the game?
Yeah, and for example, my hopes for it going forward, it does something like... Now, people are probably watching this after the reviews are out and being like, he's an idiot, that was in the game. But my hopes are, say, you get to a boss battle, and then you do a certain mechanic and you get that stage of the boss, but then you can only... You have to hit them this side and then maybe switch to 16-bit, where now you can see something you couldn't see in 8-bit because the visuals are better. I don't know. I want something that actually utilises a switching, like flipping Death done, where you have to kind of switch around between the two worlds.
They're going to have to do that, because that would be the only point of jumping between 16-bit and 8-bit, would be what you were able to achieve with the different
Unless it's just a case to go, look, we can do this.
But we've seen that. I mean, if you played Wonder Boy Monster or whatever,
the Dragon Trap, or it's called.
Yeah. Where you can just flick as you're playing. It flicks between the old Master System version and it's beautiful. It's wonderful to do, but it's the same game.
Yeah. No, I don't want to be too down on it, because I'm enjoying my time with it. Like I said, I'm 5 hours in. I want to play more of it. But my biggest issue at the moment is, but then again, that's coming from someone who I want to challenge in a game. I want games that have my arse to me. And I know not everyone wants that, but that's my biggest issue at the moment, is the fact that I want it to be more challenging, and I feel like it's not. But who knows? It might end up being a 20-hour game that hands my ass to me in the last 10 hours, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's everything I played, or we played, because obviously you can't talk about much more until next week.
Yeah, until next week.
Tune in next week to find out more. Don't go anywhere, we're not going yet. Though.
Yeah, no, we've still got the news.
They're like, what?
It's all over, it's got it. Quick week.
News. Now, these are a combination of Gamescom news and pre-Gamescom news, or news that was come out just in the week of Gamescom.
But we're still going to do a chat about Gamescom. We're
still going to chat about Gamescom at the end, where we're going to speak about...
I made notes.
More games.
I have all these notes.
More games in finer detail, shall we say. But anyway, let's dive into this. Crytek, who technically now... It's crazy. They're now regarded as an indie studio.
Because they kind of closed down and then reopened.
So it's not necessarily everyone who worked on the Crysis series.
Yeah.
Lots of those have gone on to other
jobs. Yeah.
But Crytek is still a studio. And their next game they released is Hunt Showdown. It's available now in early access on PC. And it's coming to Xbox One this year in game preview. I've played a couple of games of it. Right. I really like the idea of this game. It's very inspired by Battle Royale, in terms of you play in teams of 2, you land on an island, you need to kill the other teams and get off the island. That's a Battle Royale game. Difference is there's only 4 or 5 teams on the island, so there's not many.
Yeah.
And the main object of the game is there's actually a boss on the island.
Monster on the island.
Yeah, and you need to. So you don't actually have to kill the boss. You can just kill everyone else, call for the evac, and then get off the island. But the boss has the way the game progression works is XP carries over between matches, and XP is like the most sought after currency in the game.
Yeah.
So the boss carries a lot of XP and loot, and the loot isn't just match specific. It's actually, if I get these parts out, then I can craft this weapon. So when I spawn next time, I've got a better weapon.
Yeah.
And you want to go kill these bosses. Now the bosses there's 4 bosses in the game. They're pretty as you'd expect, apart from one, which is fucking terrifying. There's like a demon creature thing.
Some sort of witch lady.
There's a witch. I can't remember the other one, but the most disgusting one. I've played the witch lady and the demonic spider.
Yeah.
It's a teleporting demonic spider which spawns in a fucking mine shaft, so it's so dark. You can only see its eye staring at you, and it just shoots around it squills. It's like straight up horrendous. It's like enough to make a grown man cry, and I happily admit that. I don't want to play that game anymore because it's fucking demonic spiders. But it's coming to Xbox One game preview.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to this game. Yeah. Because because of the whole it's a co-op based team thing against other teams against a monster. So it does kind of like that evolve thing.
Yeah.
In a way, but also it has permadeath.
Yeah.
When your character dies, that's it. They're dead.
Yeah.
All the stuff, all your XP, all your weapons, gone.
That's a good point. I forgot to mention that.
So you've got this whole terrifying extra level of. Not only do I have to worry about the boss, and you can actually use the boss and lure it into killing the other team.
That's right. That's another tactic. So you let the other team take the boss down, get the loot, then kill them.
Yeah.
Now you don't get the full XP that they would have got for killing the boss, but you get all the loot they had and extra XP because they killed the boss.
Yeah.
So there's lots of ways so you can kind of let them lose half their health because of the boss, and then sweep in afterwards, kill them, and There's lots going on in the game.
It's the tactical side of it, and I think because you're only dealing with 4, it should be easy enough to get a group of 4 people together that you can talk with and that you can build a group around. I think it's
So my question is
really exciting.
Game
preview.
Well, it's early access, isn't it? So
It's early access.
This is my question. I have the thing that made me start thinking about it more was so Xbox have had 2 big releases this year in game preview. They've had PUBG, probably the biggest release in game preview, and this Hunt Showdown, which is
Sea of Thieves was game preview.
Sorry,
wasn't it?
No, Sea of Thieves.
Oh
is,
no, it wasn't.
That's,
it was
Game Pass.
Game Pass. Yeah.
Do you think because PlayStation are very strict on we don't want early access games. If we have an early access game, you have to do a whole founders pack thingy. Do you think PlayStation 5 will release offering the option of early access game preview?
Nope.
Do you not think so?
Nope. For the same reason that you still can't get your Fortnite account unhooked from PlayStation, because PlayStation don't give a shit. They don't want anything that isn't fully encapsulated within their world on there. And if it's a preview, it means it's not fully finished, which means when you sign up to use the account, it has to have the disclaimer that it's a preview and therefore it won't keep this, that and the other. So, no, I don't think PlayStation will go for it. No.
Okay.
I think we will see more of a Xbox-style Games Pass thing, though, coming to PlayStation.
Well, have you seen the rumours
style.
that Xbox are doing a big bundle? Subscription bundle. So, if you pay for the full year out in one of Live and Game Pass, you get, the rumours are you get a 30% discount.
Right.
So if you was to pay what would be 120 for Game Pass and so say 180 quid roughly before the discount, take the 30% off. So you're getting like 54 quid discount. So you're basically paying 120, 130 quid for the year to have Game Pass and Live. I think that's a pretty good deal, to be fair.
It's not bad.
Considering all their first-party exclusives are going to go straight to Game Pass.
But what first-party exclusives do they have that you really want to have?
Forza Horizon 4.
Is that really worth that amount of money when you could just buy it?
I still want
that is my issue with Xbox at the moment, and with the whole thing. It's like ID at Xbox. They showed all these games, and I sat there going, I paid 400, 500 quid for this Xbox.
Yeah. Well, the issue with ID at Xbox is
it hasn't got anything.
I like ID at Xbox, and I like how they support the indie departments, but pretty much every game on ID at Xbox is available on other consoles.
Yeah.
They need to have exclusive indies on there, like Guacamelee 2. I've not played it yet, but that is a PlayStation. It's available on PC, but it's a PlayStation. Cuphead. That was probably their biggest indie to ever release on Xbox, and it sold 3 million copies. Like, that's probably more than Sea of Thieves is. I think Sea of Thieves has less than 3 million players active in it. So, like, that just shows you, doesn't it? But anyway, let's go on before we chat for ages.
Stupid Xbox.
Another bit of news we got this week was kind of not a bit of news. It was just an announcement out of nowhere that Nintendo got 3 new games onto its store this week. As I said earlier in the what we've been playing, I've played one a bit, one hardly at all, and the other one I've not played at all.
I played the one he hasn't played at all a shit ton.
On PC.
On PC,
yeah. So, Bad North, Morphe's Law, not Murphy's Law, and Prison Architect all came out on Monday. All came out on Monday.
Love the way you say things like they're a question every time. It's like we've got a little auto reader there and you're Ron Burgundy. Yeah. I'm just going to stick question marks after all sorts of random shit.
I think it was actually Monday it released. They all came out of nowhere. It was Monday night. I remember that. It was Monday night. They all went, boom, there you go. These 3 games are available now, which is great. Are you going to be playing... Well, you've played Morphe's Law. You've played a lot of Prison Architect.
I played a lot of Prison Architect.
Would you play on Switch?
God, yes.
I've never played it.
Prison Architect is brilliant. I absolutely love it. So you're building a prison. It's a sim game, basically. And you've got to build the perfect prison to move the guards around. You get challenges you've got to set. Kill this amount of people, or make sure no one gets knifed, or make sure drugs can't get in there. And it's great. It's a brilliant sim game. You're building walls, and you really enjoyed it. I honestly lost hours in that game. If you just sit there forever going, oh, you know what? We need a new shower block there. That'll stop those guys knifing each other. Yeah, we'll do that. oh, we could put a telephone in that corner. Brilliant, let's have that. And you do just sit there going, yeah, let's have a laundry basket. That would be brilliant. It's one of those really silly games, but I loved it, and it will work on Switch because it's not a graphic intensive game, and because it's a planning game, you can sit there and just go, okay,
nice.
I'll have that there. Slow time down a bit, because you don't have a mouse to move it across.
Nice.
Would be my only thing. But
well, you have the touchscreen, don't you? Probably.
You got a touchscreen, but
cool. I might give it a go.
I don't know. Do you know how much it is?
I'll let you know now.
Would be the only question. As you get the Switch out.
It's on the table with me. You keep the filler going.
Okay. So yeah,
I'll probably turn the volume down.
No, just proof that we've got there. Morphe's Law at the moment is obviously one that I will wait. I'd probably give it. I'd like to give it another go because I really do like the concept.
Yeah.
Of as you shoot something, different bits grow.
Light Trap's out now.
No. Oh my god.
Yeah.
£11. Okay. They do know it's shit, right? That was the point. It was just really bad.
24.99.
Oh,
too much.
Okay, that's probably too much, to be honest.
Too much.
£25. It'd be worth that if I was playing it on the Mac. I'd want a discount. This game's been out for years. This is not a new game.
Okay.
You know, I picked mine up on, I think it was Xbox for £8, and that was the physical copy of it.
Really? So you don't think £25?
So I don't know.
Also, at the moment, I don't know how long it's going to last. I just played it on a PC. I've just brought Hollow Knight and it's downloading because it's down to £7.
Yeah, you see, that's...
Yeah, I was like, £7 for Hollow Knight? Yeah,
I think I'd have gone for a maximum of £10, £11. £10.99 for it, I'd have gone, yeah, but £25, I think at that point...
Okay.
For an old game, no.
Fair dues.
Get it on your...
Now, a game that I am seriously stoked for, cannot wait... Like, I'm going to talk more about this in the Not So Indie show, although it's an indie game, but it's one of my games from E3, from Gamescom.
No, that's where we first saw it.
Yeah, we saw it in E3.
E3, because the video for it was the weird pig and duck.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there going, what the fuck is this game?
Now, obviously I saw it at E3. I've been looking forward to it since E3, but we didn't know much about it. We hadn't seen much gameplay. We've seen a couple of GIFs as such, of little animated sections. We hadn't seen much actually about the game. Not only have we seen more, not only do we get a Gamescom trailer, surprisingly, we got a release date of this year for Mutant Year Zero. The Gamescom trailer's playing out there now. It's coming on the 4th of December to PS4, PC and Xbox One. It's a turn... So what I really like about this game, turn-based combat, but between the turn-based combat, it's real-time exploration / stealth. So, for example, I was watching a gameplay video of it. Now, you can take two routes to the combat. You can either try to avoid the combat and stealthily move between the areas and completely nullify the chance of getting into any situation. Or you can ask people to wait areas, so then you deliberately get into combat, but you set yourself up very well in the real time to then all of a sudden snap into the XCOM style tactical turn-based.
But we can people in a great position to then take on, pincer manoeuvres, all sorts of shit.
So you based around a boar, a duck, and a woman. But
there's something odd about her, isn't there?
Yeah, there's definitely so there's something not right there.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of the game is you're trying to find this place called Eden, which is meant to be like the last luscious haven on Earth or something. And in between the missions, you go back to this kind of neon city where you can buy upgrades, you can get all kind of... I've got a big vibe of Darkest Dungeon in terms of Darkest Dungeon in between the runs. Probably not to the extent of this, but you could like use a brothel to release stress and things like that. You could
the RPG side of it, yeah.
I got a big vibe of that from what you could do in this little town. I think the game looks fucking awesome.
Yes. When we saw the clip for it at E3, I was like, okay, I want to know more about this game. And then we got a whole load this time, and I was like, you know what?
And 4th of December,
really great.
Really new. It's really new, really soon.
Yeah. That's your Christmas game sorted, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think that's a good time as well because you've just missed a franchise season.
Yeah.
People who pick up Spider-Man, I should have finished Spider-Man by then. You people who got your CODs and all that, they're not even going to look at this game. They're going to be playing COD. FIFAs, they're not going to look at this game. They're going to be playing FIFAs. But there were the other big games coming out. People should be by Christmas looking for something new to play. And coming out on the digital store, pricing will be interesting. I can probably see about 30, 35 quid.
Yeah, I reckon about 35 is what we're going to see for it. But so far, what I've seen, it's probably worth about 30,
The
35.
devs' names are brilliant. What they're called, the bearded lady.
The bearded ladies.
The bearded ladies, something Contoriism or something. It's like
No,
a
they're just the bearded ladies.
It's bearded ladies.
Yeah, I got it on. Yeah, the bearded ladies.
Yeah. So
I've written XCOM with a duck. That's my notes for it.
it looks cool. I think my notes somewhere are pretty similar actually. No, that's on the other one. But yeah, that was on my Resident Evil.
Oh, was that your Resident one?
My Devil May Cry. But anyway, that's another podcast.
That's a different one.
Housemarque. Now, this one I'm really intrigued, mixed feelings about. You remember, or you recall, earlier in the year, we announced, or we didn't announce, we spoke about the fact that Housemarque, the developers behind Nex Machina, Matterfall, Resogun, real, very polished, very good arcade shooters that are like pixel perfect in terms of their bullet hell gameplay, had said that they're stepping away from that genre. They want to broaden their horizons. We all sat down with Tom as well and spoke about what we think the next game they're going to release is. And we all actually ended up coming to agreement. It will probably be some kind of dungeon crawler or isometric adventure game.
Yeah.
Similar to like Nex Machina had the isometric camera, but it was a bullet hell.
Yeah.
And we were all sold on that. I was very surprised to hear on Tuesday that Housemarque had announced a new game called Storm Divers. And it is a third-person action Battle Royale game. Now, at first, I was down on this. I'm not going to lie. At first, I was like, what? We don't need another Battle Royale game. Secondly, as soon as you release a Battle Royale game now, that hasn't got the uniqueness of, say, something like Hunt Showdown, you're going against PUBG, you're going against Fortnite, you're going against the big dogs that, even like games we spoke about, Darwin Project, it's just treading water. It's not breaking ground because Fortnite trumps everything.
Yeah.
I get they're going for the sci-fi theme, and I get they can do sci-fi themes very well.
Yeah.
I was down on it at first. I've slowly come around to the idea after reading more about it. So it's going to have PvE missions, whatever the hell that means, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then what maybe sold me a little bit more on it was the fact that I actually sat down and I thought, okay, Housemarque, as I've said, they release very well polished, tight mechanical games, shooting games. And if they can put all that into a sci-fi themed Battle Royale that works on consoles,
my issue is that it's not that I don't believe Housemarque can't produce a highly polished, good game. I just don't think it's going to get any traction. Because it's gonna happen exactly what you say. It's gonna come out and go, here's this battle royale. It's got this. Here's our special feature of sometimes you do PvE stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's gonna go, yeah, but it's not Fortnite. And then it's gonna sit there and it's gonna die.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
what's more concerning is we haven't had a release date for it. And if this doesn't come this year, I just feel that battle royale it's already starting to slowly dip off. Things like before, you'd always see Fortnite was at the top of YouTube. New announcement Fortnite, top of YouTube, top of the internet. And it's already now starting to drop. People are starting to have enough of it now. Actually, do you want something a bit different? Like, I actually think COD will be quite successful because I think COD has got the ability. If I want to play Battle Royale, I can. If I want to go play online, I can. If I want to do the campaign, I can. If I want to do zombies, I can do zombies.
Yeah.
Like, I think that will be successful for
although you won't
reason,
be able to play campaign. It's got no solo campaign.
It hasn't got solo campaign, has it? But you know what I mean. It's got options.
Yeah.
I hope the best of Housemarque, and I probably will play it because I love every game they've released. I've absolutely loved. I think they're amazing. Nex Machina was one of my favourite games last year. Just to be interesting to see more about Storm Divers when it comes out.
It'd probably be a really good game. I just think it's going to suffer from the market.
It's just that thing now, isn't it? It's similar to when when open world games kept coming.
Yeah.
And the first hot words people were saying straight out when the PR announced was an open world adventure, and you were just like, oh.
Do you remember when for a while everything was sandbox?
Oh my god,
sandbox. Literally every game was it's a sandbox adventure. Here's a sandbox adventure, and then you're just like, oh.
To the point where they almost try to not say sandbox.
Yes, yeah.
And it is now everything saying Battle Royale, and it's just like, oh, just say it's a third-person action shooting game.
Yeah, yeah.
Against 99 other people. Don't even mention the word Battle Royale or Battle Royale. But yeah, I had some time. is a game I reviewed
Yeah,
on
last
PC
year.
last year. I
Nearly
really
this
liked
time last year,
it.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
We're getting
it was.
close. Jesus.
I gave it a 7.8. Went back to look at my review, which I'm not a big fan of 3D platformers. I've openly said this several times, but I really liked it actually. It was
I
a fun 3D platformer. It was very cute, very charming. It didn't have loads of content to it, but what it did have, it done very well. The game's coming to the Switch, which I think's amazing because it's a game about collecting hats, and it's a 3D platformer.
I think Mario Odyssey's had enough time out there now.
And I think it's not good. It's not looking to rival Mario Odyssey, is it?
I think Nintendo feels safe with how they did with Mario. So like,
I think so. But no, it's very charming. It's very cute. You play as, I think you're called Hat Kid. I think that's actually what you're called, Hat Kid.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, it's coming to the Switch. No release date yet, but they did say very soon. And with the release to the Switch version is coming with the DLC, which is called Silver Dill, which is based on an Arctic cruise ship, and It's got a whole new kind of story chapter to its gameplay. So that's coming with the Switch version, but if you own a PS4 version or a PC version, then you're getting that DLC for completely free. It's coming out completely free to get back into the game. I'll probably jump back into it and see what it's like.
Have a look at it.
We'll definitely have to try and hook you up with something on the Switch. I think you'll enjoy that.
Hat in Time. Yeah.
It's nice and it's just...
It's a gentle platformer, isn't it?
It's soup, as I always say.
It's soup.
It's soup. It's your perfect comfort food. It's not challenging. It's not the best food in the world, but sometimes you can't
just
beat
makes
a
you
good
feel
soup.
better.
Yeah. Gardens Between. Oh, it's a game that we're both quite excited about.
Yeah.
A story game by voxel agents based around two friends in a world where they can manipulate time to kind of solve puzzles. Got a release date for the 20th of September. It's coming to PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. You're really excited about this one, aren't you?
I am really excited about this one. This is a really nice puzzle game. It's visually is what I really like about it as well, because it has that kind of weird isometric retro look to it. But it's all misty as well. There's something really strange and mysterious going on in it. And
they've been very vague with the gameplay,
with everything,
and which makes me think, from I suppose professional judgment of what we've seen from other PRs, there's something hidden there. Something's going to come out more.
I think this is going to be a game that's going to be easily spoiled.
Okay.
And I think that's what they're watching out for. Is I think there's going to be a lot of twists in the narrative, and that if you review it and give out those narrative twists, you're going to kind of ruin it.
It's like when I saw a review for State of Mind. Is up now, and I deliberately say any game like that. I say within about the second paragraph, after the lead paragraph, that I'm going to be very vague around the story here because it's not knowing which makes it so intriguing, inviting to go forward. I've watched other reviews for it, as we said we always do. We go watch other reviews after our one's out, and they go in fully and go, "Oh, this happens." And I was like, "What? Are you kidding
the game
me?"
for
Like,
people.
I get that they might think that that's not the main twist, but stuff that happens early on in the game, you can instantly work out yourself that, oh, really? That happens? Like, yeah.
But the fun of these games is learning the narrative. It's going through the story. It's having that. So if you're spoiling bits along the way,
dick move.
Dick move.
But the Gardens Between, 20th of September. The trailer, like I said, was playing up there now. It looks really cool. It looks like a very intriguing little puzzle. I don't know if it's a platform. I think it's just a puzzle game. With time manipulating mechanics. And the final piece of news comes in the form of Insurgency Sandstorm. Now, Insurgency released back in 2014. And kind of as a bit of a hit PC indie FPS game out of nowhere. It was, which is a bit weird because FPS games aren't normally take off well when they're from the indie. They normally like have a comical element to them. But this was a very serious first-person shooting game that people were actually really like. They were like, do you know what? This is really cool. I think it only had 2 maps on it. And the reason it was so good and tight was because they didn't spread their resources too thin. They kind of focused tight on it. So there's no surprise getting a sequel. But this sequel looks really kind of a step on from what they've done in Insurgency.
I haven't seen it.
Insurgency Sandstorm is... so it's coming in 18th September to PC. That was one announcement we got at Gamescom. We also got the announcement of a new trailer, which again looks really cool. And the other announcement we got was that if you pre-order the game now, one, you get 10% off. So I think it's $22.99 on Steam. But you also, as of 28th, next Tuesday, you get access into the game's beta 2, which is just below final release, all the way up to release the game. So you basically get to start playing the game early, and all progress will carry over to the main game.
Nice.
We're actually going to be streaming this.
Yeah.
I've managed to get a couple of keys for me and your brother. And we're going to be playing it. Now,
so watch Lewis get killed a lot.
Yes, I think people who watch this will know that I am not a PC player, and FPS games on PC are not my forte. I love them, but I go in there very much going like, oh, what can we do now? Oh, I'm dead. Your brother thinks you get very annoyed at me. But,
which will make the stream brilliant.
Yeah. But no, the reason we're covering this is because it is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox early next year. I'm really looking forward to this. You haven't seen the trailer yet, have you?
I missed the trailer. I
mean, the trailer, you watch it and you think, this looks like a Call of Duty game. And it does. Yeah. Because you can't help like a Call of Duty game. But what's impressive is that it is an independent developed game that they've really made it tight and worked hard on it, being a smaller studio. And it's like, do you know what, actually, if they can get a team on board, and like we saw Battalion 1944, that's still got a good running, because it's kind of CSGO style in terms of how pinpoint sight
precise, and it feels good to play, and it's
But you like that with shooters, don't you?
I do like that. Are,
whereas I'm more like, give me a sci-fi FPS. I'm more than happy to play through that.
Well, it depends what you're playing. Like Doom, I don't care if it's pinpoint accurate. I just want to blow the shit out of things and jump around the place and feel cool, because that's the point of that game. But when you're playing what should be competitive shooters, or they claim to be competitive shooters, you want pinpoint accuracy. You want that real high skill level in there. Yeah. Not that I can play like that anymore, but back in the good old days when you did, it was, that was the beautiful moment when you were able to pull off these amazing shots, and you knew it was skill.
Interesting to see what it is, and I look forward to. I'm hoping this is the game that makes me improve at PC, makes me want to play more and get better at PC. But 18th of September, pre-order now to get into the beta 2, and you can play the game all the way up to release, and progress will carry over. And that's going to wrap up the news. Gamescom then. Gamescom happened. It was a thing, believe it or not. It came, it saw, it conquered, from global sales to sold out concerts. I think that's the words. Let's just go on to Gamescom and not try to speak.
Let's not do
segues,
shall we? No more segues.
Do you want to start, or shall I start with what I was impressed about games? So I should probably say, what we're going to do here is we're just going to talk about things we saw at Gamescom that we liked. And then kind of discuss and chew the fat on them. By the looks of it, we're going to be here for another 3 hours.
5 hours. Don't worry, I'm not going to... My notes was... I literally was sitting there watching these things, watching it, right, I better write that down. So all the way through going, oh... What was that one? Revert, look at that. Oh, that's brilliant. To the point that some of these I no longer care about. Whereas other ones I was like, I must talk about that because that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Can I start?
Go.
With one of the ones that I was shocked to be sort of like, you know what? I really want to play that. And part of it is due to movies like Jaws and The Meg and things like that. Have you guessed what it is? Should we play a guess game? No. We won't because that would take forever. It was what was it called again? The Dark Pictures Man of Medan from Supermassive Games, which is a horror at sea. So you've got a diving crew who go down into the
guys
water.
who made Until Dawn.
Yeah, and it looks scary as hell.
It looks cool. It looks different.
Yeah,
it genuinely looks different.
And I'm not a fan of just really basic.
Horror,
not a fan of the horror ones, but the whole setup for it was creepy and cheesy, especially there's a part in the trailer which will be going right now where the woman on the boat's going, the bits you pulled up, they've all got essence.
I'm going to make note, because I always have to go back through and watch these to make notes of what trailers so yes.
And she's saying there's essence to do with parts of the ship that they brought up, and there's obviously this classic 80s style ghost story going on in the background where you're going to have haunted parts of an aeroplane that they've pulled up from beneath the water, and then horror's going on. I was watching it going,
looks really cool.
Man, I really want to play. I really want to scare the shit out of myself with that sort of thing.
Well, because I didn't play it until late on, But Until Dawn, really liked Until Dawn. It kind of really leaned into that cheesy 80s horror movie, but was generally jumpy and scary at times. And that was good. They kind of had they'd done the whole Rush to Blood to the Head VR game, which I've heard mixed things about. They've done what was the other VR game they'd done that everyone really was down on? It was meant to be scary, and apparently it wasn't scary at all.
Okay. Oh, is that the one with the kid who runs into the wall again and again? Or is that a different game?
No, this was the weird bald doctor guy in the wheelchair. And but yeah, they kind of had a couple of, for lack of a better term, dud games that people were like, really? Like, just do Until Dawn again. So to see that they're kind of actually doing Until Dawn again.
They're pretty much doing Until Dawn again, except it's not in a cabin in the woods now.
I was like, yeah, man, I'm cool. I'm well game with that.
That caught me because it's against my normal sort of pick of games. It's like, you know what? I really like that.
Yeah, and there's no release date on that, is there?
No, not at the moment.
Not yet.
These are all just jumping on that. Go on.
I'm going to speak first about then Plague Road Innocence. So there's a gameplay up now, but basically we've got 16 minutes of gameplay sent to us, and this gameplay was from E3 earlier in the year that was behind closed doors for press at the show who went to go see the event. So the public haven't seen it, we haven't seen it, so we did a little bit of a different video that we normally do. I watched the gameplay and kind of spoke about my impressions while I was watching it. So you can go watch that now if you want to see what I think of it there. Man, I really like the look of that game. So I say in the preview video quite a lot that it is, okay, yes, we've seen third-person, atmospheric, tense, story-driven adventure games like 20, 30 a year release, all the bloody time. And very rarely do many come out and feel like they're doing anything unique or new. And just the simplest of additions to this, I feel like it is doing something new. So it's very puzzle-influenced with its... so it's all based around rats, basically. So rats
are... the plague.
Yeah, rats are fucking running mental. You see in the preview video, about 2 or 3 minutes in, this horse is lying over in agony, and it explodes and rats come pouring out of it. Rats are obviously scared of fire in just about every other video game going. And you have to kind of manipulate the fire by throwing stones at stuff to knock it down and kind of make your way through the environments while taking down enemies and making your way through the plague-ridden worlds without being eaten by the rats or seen by the enemies. Someone commented on YouTube, actually, while the podcast was recording, and they literally summed it up in one. They commented saying, Last of Us in medieval times. It literally is the Last of Us in medieval times. There's little tropes in it I noticed when... So you're playing as a slightly older girl. When it gets really tense, she kind of like brings the young boys into them and like really cuddles them underneath them, like cradles them. There's parts where you kind of have to kill someone to survive, but the dialogue's very much like they don't want to do it, and it really... But that leads into the second part of the game's title, which is A Plague Road Innocent. It's all about they're trying to be innocent. They're young. They're kids.
They're young, saving
but they're trying to do all they can to survive. Yeah. And I'm really intrigued by it. It's Asobo Games, and Focus Home Interactive, who fucking nailed this Gamescom.
Oh my god! I have a special card that is just for Focus Home Interactive.
Absolutely nailed it. And it looks really cool. There's no release date on it yet. It's coming early 2019, is all we know.
Yeah.
PS4, Xbox One, PC. If you're interested by it, and I'll have the kind of the gameplay thing that I've played up there. But if you want to go see actually my actual thoughts on it and go see 16 minutes of the game unedited.
Yeah.
I didn't play it, they sent it to us. Then go check out the video now. But it looks really cool.
Yeah. That is definitely one I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Want to know more of that one. Okay. Another one. Oh, so many. But I'm going to go for Black Sad Under the Sky from Pendulo Studios.
Yep.
Which is a really weird looking detective game where you're a cat. But you're a cat in full human clothing. And there are dogs as people, and it's just it's your classic sort of, I want to say, like 1950s style detective story, except everyone is cats and dogs. And just visually, it's wonderful. It looks fantastic, and there isn't a lot about it. It's a very cheesy trailer that is done very much in the style of that whole private detective. You've got the voiceover, you've got the woman he loves, you've got him walking through the city, that sort of thing. But I was like, I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
I want to know what that is. I want to play that
game.
It does
look cool.
And it looks really sweet. So yeah, that Black Sad Under the Sky is definitely one of my Gamescom games. Yeah. I was like, I want to know more on that.
Yeah, so I've not seen the trailer for it. I just sort of screenshots for it.
Yeah.
And I saw, I can't remember the YouTube channel. Sorry, I can't plug you. They were talking about it and saying I was watching. And it kind of flashed up quickly and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. But I actually need to go back and watch the trailer for that. Like I said, I did only get back
You should watch the trailer.
Night. Well, we spoke about Super Mutant Year Zero, so we won't speak about that. Desperados 3.
Yeah.
Desperados 3 is a game that, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, fuck me, that looks sweet. Although the trailer was in gameplay, at first, the trailer actually doesn't do a very good job of explaining what the gameplay is, and it kind of is a little bit misleading in what it's going to offer.
Okay.
The trailer is very much two people, you see it now, they're kind of, it's a Western, standing for a duel, and then all of a sudden everyone starts shooting at everyone, and you kind of expect it's going to be, is this a contender? Is this a contender for Red Dead? Is this going to be someone rivaling Red Dead? Not at all. It's actually a real-time strategy game. It's developed by, and I'm going to completely get the name wrong. It's something like Me Games. Yeah, Me Games. They're developers who brought us Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, which is a really good strategy game.
Yes.
A very good ninja-based kind of strategy game. And that's basically that, but set in the Wild West. It's a spiritual successor to Desperados Wanted Dead or Alive. I didn't even know this was a game. It released in 2001 on PC. And it was another real-time strategy game. So I thought you might know it. I don't. Yeah. I didn't.
No, I remember that one vaguely.
It's not the same developers, but it's a spiritual successor to that game. And it looks really cool. You play as John Cooper. You control 5 people, 5 cowboys, for lack of a better term, through the story, and you're trying to track down his nemesis and kill him. Classic Western story. But then just the way it sets up, and each cowboy has a different... You can swap cowboys in and out, so you don't just have the same 5, you can kind of change them.
Okay.
And each cowboy has like different, much like Shadow Tactics, different skills that you can utilise.
Yeah.
So it looks really cool, actually. And Desperados 3 is one I'm definitely going to keep an eye on when it gets closer to release.
Sweet. Oh. See, limiting yourself on stuff is really difficult. I'm not very good at it.
I know. Well, we're going to speak about
like
more
when you see lots of
Gamescom on the Not So Indie
show. But even just the indie ones. So, Close to the Sun.
Yeah.
Close to the Sun from Storm in a Teacup. What a great looking game.
Yeah.
So it's basically BioShock meets Mirror's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set with Nicholas Tesla has created a world just like BioShock sort of has, in the idea that you've got a whole cult growing around it.
Yeah.
But the trailer is you're just seeing someone leg it. That is Storm in a Teacup. There, bottom one. Close to the Sun, Storm in a Teacup.
Cool.
They're just legging it away from people being hacked to death.
Yeah.
And you just like, oh my! I'm kind of disappointed Tom isn't here because I'm pretty sure he would have had a full mangasm over this one.
He probably didn't even see it.
He probably didn't see it. That is true. But this is definitely a game that Tom will be like, dream game for him. And I was watching it thinking, this looks like a spiritual successor to the whole BioShock franchise, but with... I'm assuming the Mirror Edge side from it, from what I saw, was definitely lots of just running.
I actually really liked Mirror's Edge.
It was a good game.
It was, I thought it'd done something unique and different to it, and I'm amazed they still haven't brought it out in VR. I'm
grateful they haven't brought it out in VR. As someone who's scared of heights anyway, that's just no thank you.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah. Well, the last one I'm going to mention is it's not an announcement. It's a game that I was going to mention that because I was so excited. One? Settlers. The fact that
but that's not indie. It's not indie. See, this is my non-indie card, right?
Yeah. It's a game that I saw more gameplay for it, and it's a game I first saw at Gamescom last year, and I've not seen much about it since. And every time I see something more about it, I'm like, I want to see more of this game. And it's called Lonely Mountain.
Oh yeah,
just a downhill mountain biking game. There's something about that game. I just can't wait to play it. I genuinely cannot wait to play that game. I don't know if it's just the simplistic kind of low poly visuals or what, but every time I see gameplay of it, I get more excited. This is how much I was into it. I watched the gameplay video from this year, next watching gameplay video from last year.
Oh yeah.
And the difference in the game is basically a whole new game. It's like really changed, lots more, like a lot more substance to the actual gameplay element of it all. And yeah, so it's not a new reveal. There was lots of cool reveals that you would speak about, and some that I've still yet to catch up on. Like I heard of Omen of Sorrow, haven't seen it yet.
Omen of Sorrow, slightly disappointing to be honest. Okay. It's a fighter using mythical characters. It was like, yeah, okay, I don't think it's going to stand up against the others. There's so many games. Like Felix the Reaper from Daedalic
Biomutant
looked awesome.
Oh, Felix the Reaper, we've
it was a nice puzzle game.
Yeah,
disco going on, and you've got to use the shadows to creep around and do bits like that. It's awesome looking.
Yeah, the guys at Get Indie Gaming done a big feature of it. That's where I saw it. I think where I saw it. They done it a little while ago. But Biomutant looks really, really fucking cool as well.
Biomutant, I was slightly disappointed by.
Oh, was you?
I thought the character creation side of it was brilliant. The way they were using, the way you could make your character how you wanted it to, it being a mutant, of course, you can't make yourself in there, was really good. But when it actually got to the game bit,
do you know
what I saw, I was like,
I quite like the combat. The combat felt...
I just straight away went generic.
The combat felt...
It was like, here we go, you're going to roll, you're going to hit, you're going to roll, you're going to hit. Oh, look, there's a big monster, there's a little monster. Roll and hit. Roll and hit. Roll. Oh, for God's sake. Because I was expecting more from it. The whole Biomutant concept was like, okay, this is going to be really interesting. This is going to be Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
This is going to be where'd you come from? How'd you go? And then we get a generic roll and hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I was a little bit sad by that one. Can I just, as we mentioned it slightly, just big up Focus Home Interactive.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because they did an insane job. The games that they're publishing are
some really good ones.
Some really great. The Fear the Wolves is coming out, which I think will be all right. The Surge 2. Now, if you like The Surge, which I did enjoy, The Surge 2 is a brilliant announcement. Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. Now, I'm big into the Arkham Horror board games.
Yeah.
I really like what they've done there. So this is looking brilliant. Apart from, and because this is me, and anyone who knows the show knows I hate walking sims. If you watch the trailer, they had to edit it, and this is like a 15-minute game walkthrough. Edit it so that they could show you stuff because he walks at the pace of a freaking slug. And I was like, you assholes, you've taken us into, Cthulhu and that whole world, and you're going to make me walk painfully slow.
See, I'm
so that is already at a -1 in my scores. Apart from the fact, I love it. Space Hulk Tactics.
Yeah, that looks cool. That does cool.
They've added multiplayer, so it's the classic Games Workshop Space Hulk game, but it's just everything's upped. And I had to, man.
He knows.
And just for Lewis, this one, Farming Simulator 19.
Yes, Farming Simulator 19.
And this is all just from Focus Home Interactive.
Yeah,
this is what they're pushing out, and you're just like, oh my god.
And they've had a good year this year. They've got Vampire. They've definitely had more games than Vampire.
Yeah, they've been nailing it.
They've kind of been ramping up more and more and more, and they are that, as I said earlier, that indie to AAA, that in between publisher.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gamescom was good. I've started down on the fact that, do you know what really upsets me actually about Gamescom?
Go on.
Is there are so many indies there. And do you know how much of a tough time I had trying to find coverage for the indies?
There is next to none.
It really
next to none.
Irritated me. And I've not had a chance to look at half the trailers you got on there purely because, like I said, I got back late last night. And where I was, it was a very much a case of, I've got 20 minutes free now, what can I find? So I was just typing on like Gamescom, I was going to the website, I was looking at all the latest releases, I was going to Games Press, looking at the news there to see what has been announced and all things like that. But I was going to YouTube and I found one channel and it was all in German.
Yeah, I've got to say, a lot of this stuff that I got was, I was watching the show and they do, here are indie games, blast through them in seconds, I'd have to write them down as fast as I can, then go on
I had a rant about
and watch trailers, and it was fucking ridiculous.
I had a rant about it on Twitter actually, and spat my dummy out about IGN. because I was like, I have the app on my phone because when I'm in a rush and I want Gamescom information, I go on that because they would normally be the first ones bringing stuff up. And it said, I woke up in the morning, title of the video was Xbox's indie games of Gamescom. And I was like, sweet, brilliant, 8 minutes, bang, let's watch this.
I know exactly what you
They spoke for 4 minutes about Sea of Thieves. They spoke about for 3 minutes for State of Decay 2. And then they literally went on the indie games and they showed about 7 indie games in the space of a minute.
Yeah.
And then went, there we go.
And what's even worse about it, some of those indie games that they rushed through
are really
were
cool.
Hunt Showdown, Tunic, Below, and Waking.
Yeah.
All games that are going to be games we
Below
will
is
keep
a game I
talking about.
cannot wait for.
Everyone's been waiting for Below forever.
Yeah, but Tunic as well looks really cool.
Tunic's great. Waking is looking immense.
And they showed Children of Mortar again, and that's a game that I was apprehensive about. I played it at EGX Res, sat down and played it. I was like, this game's really fucking cool. And it's very much a game that I'll enjoy anyway.
Yeah.
It's an adventure game with tough combat.
But all of these games they gave like a second, 2 seconds to, but then spent ages on games that are already out.
Gamescom next year and do it justice.
Yes, those indie games need more.
They do. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this week's Indie Credible podcast, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, watching or listening, however you chose to indulge in our dulcet tones.
Dulcet?
Dulcet?
Do you mean dulcet?
That's what I said. Yeah. You know me, I like making up words.
Do you mean the dorsal fin?
Yeah.
Because we're
dorsal
sharks.
finished tones. We are going to go off now and record the Not So Indie Show episode 7, which is the same kind of format, but we talk about the world of mostly AAA games, but we kind of cover some movie stuff in there as well. That's available to our patrons 1 week early for $1 or $3 depending on audio and video. So you head over to patreon.com/IndieCredible and you can get yourself a week early access to that. You get pre and post show content, and more importantly, you get an ad-free podcast. Depending on when you're watching this, it might not be ads now, but there will be ads at some point on this podcast. And the future podcast will most certainly have ads, probably in about a week to 2 weeks' time. So you go over there now, future-proof yourself, you won't have to watch any ads. And you help us get out to Gamescom, and we can cover the indie games and bring you as much content as we possibly can.
We should also add a massive welcome to our brand new patron.
Yes, Adam has joined the Patreon team. He's now a big boy. Adam's over on Big Boys Club. And so we're slowly building a little army to take over the indie game world, much like Brutal Legend, but it's going to actually work this time.
Well, you're going to actually use them in the fights instead of just you guys stand there and I'll deal with everything.
They just stand there.
Just rocking. Yeah! Judas Priest!
You just do everything else. But yeah, as I said again, guys, thank you so much for stopping by and watching or listening. I have been Lewis. You can find me at What's Up Woody. Dan, you can find him anywhere on the internet at The Dice Bear, or just type in The Dice Bear at Google. One thing I will plug quick before we go is we are giving a real big push on the lead up to Christmas on our streaming. So if you head over to twitch.tv/IndieCredible, then you'll see that channel is a hosting channel. We don't ever stream to that channel, but as content creators start streaming as part of IndieCredible, it's hosted on IndieCredible. So you can find everyone on there who streams to that, links to them. You can find me at What's Up Woody. If you want to find me on Twitch, you can say your brother's one, because I always get it wrong.
You can find my brother in Samnity. And then, you can find me at the Dice Bear.
Yeah, and Tom is not set up yet, but we will be streaming. I'm going to be streaming again Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evenings to start with. And your brother, who's doing some streams for us, is kind of as and when.
As and when. He will be out on Twitter. So if you go to @Insanity on Twitter, he will be putting out there. And then I'll be streaming as soon as I get October.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out dates for me to do that so I'm not clashing with Lewis.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much again, guys. And until next week, you stay indie credible.
See you later, guys.